Hello, my name is Al Barnacle, the coordinator of personalized learning.
And I'm Stacey Clements. I'm the personalized learning coach for the Diocese of Bridgeport Schools.
And together we work with your teachers to personalize learning for each and every one of your students. And in this video, we'd like to go over what that looks like for your students and what you might want to know. As with all things that we do in our Catholic schools, we start with their beliefs and values. So,
as Catholic school educators, we believe that all students are created in the image and likeness of God, each created with unique gifts and talents. As such, we believe that each student deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
And through the Personalized Learning Initiative, we develop a deep knowledge of every student and personalize instruction to ensure all students achieve academic and personal goals.
We blend the best of our Catholic school's long tradition of academic excellence and faith-based moral development with cutting-edge learning technologies and instructional practices.
With our beliefs and values in mind, let's talk a little bit about what personalized learning looks like in our schools.
Your principal set aside a block of time each day for personalized learning to be shared across reading, language arts, math, science, and social studies. We use the workshop framework and two primary models of instruction to support personalized learning in our classrooms during these times. The first model is the center rotation model, and the second is the flex rotation model, and we'll go through each of those. But first, Stacey will describe the workshop framework.
The workshop framework starts with a whole group mini lesson for about 15 minutes. The bulk of the time is this rotation, and then at the end of the block, the teacher does a small closing, usually about 5 to 10 minutes, where the students reflect on their own learning, and the teacher uses that information to plan for future instruction.
One of the rotation models we'll see is the center rotation model.
Essentially, students work in small groups and do a variety of tasks that enables the teacher to work with a small group on a targeted skill. It enables the teacher to differentiate instruction and meet with students in small groups and one-on-one conferences, while students get a variety of learning activities, including independent work, collaborative work, and problem solving.
We went to Ms. Belford's math class to watch station rotation in action. We saw some groups of students. One group was working with each other and a small group on an activity that Ms. Belford designed, based on the curriculum. Another group is working on another curriculum-aligned activity that Ms. Belford picked out individually. Another group was working on the Admentum Exact Path program. And finally, a group was working with Ms. Belford herself on tasks that she has picked out specifically for that group of students, based on the data that they generated by interacting with Admentum Exact Path and her expertise and experience as a teacher and her knowledge of your students. The students rotate between these stations during the 90-minute or double block.
Let's take a look at our flex rotation model. In this model, students rotate between activities including individual, self-paced learning on our adaptive learning platform and small group discussions, projects, and activities. While students are busy learning, using student learning data and their own expertise, teachers select students who need targeted and personalized instruction on a particular skill, or to talk with them about their own learning data. In conversations we call conferring. When students are done working individually with the teacher, they return back to their rotations while the teacher calls over other students to work on a different skill. Meanwhile, students continue to rotate between activities in the classroom. Let's take a look at Ms. Whipple's middle school language arts classroom. We can see that she'll start with the mini lesson.
We are going to do a quick lesson on verb principal parts. Sound good? Yeah. Great. So, we're going to do principal parts.
After the mini lesson, she'll group her students and get them started on their independent learning activities and group work activities. Once the students have started learning on their own, she'll call over students for individualized instruction or for conferring.
They're describing something about the restaurant. Yeah, so do we really need to see?
Towards the end of the period, the teacher pulls the class back together for a closing activity.
And then tell me, identify the form of each verb.
So as you have seen, Ms. Whipple pulls together both the workshop model and the flex rotation model for personalized learning in the Diocese of Bridgeport.
During the Technology Center part of the rotation, students work with an adaptive learning platform for reading, language arts, and math. Students use other teacher-selected technologies, particularly in social studies and science, and during their time in our innovation zones, where students develop skills in science, technology, engineering, and math through hands-on experience programming computers and robots, engineering electronics, using 3D fabrication tools, and learning to become faith-guided, moral, digital citizens. One adaptive learning platform found in our schools is Edmentum ExactPath. Edmentum ExactPath begins with a diagnostic assessment to learn what your students already know and what they probably need to know next. We all have gaps in our learning, and just like in the game Tetris, sometimes these gaps prevent us from being able to learn the next skill, creating even more gaps that can negatively impact our learning. ExactPath helps identify these gaps and creates a plan to fill them by creating a learning path customized to the learning needs of your student. ExactPath also shares information about what your students are struggling with and what they are ready to learn with your students' teachers. Teachers use this information to help them plan and personalize instruction with your children. We can also create a student summary report that shares a snapshot of where your students are in math, language arts, and reading domains based on the diagnostic assessment. Even within a subject, we find that many of our students are above grade level expectations in one domain and have gaps in another. This report also shows a summary of students' work and progress within the ExactPath program.
In a panel discussion, Ms. Curra of St. Gregory the Great School talked about how personalized learning is working at her school.
What's working is that teachers are telling me students are way more engaged, and they're also feeling that the questions on Edmentum are making students think more. And a number of teachers told me that they're getting really good information from station work. So they're using the station rotation for formative assessment. And in kindergarten, that may look like just collecting the papers because it's kindergarten, they can quickly review them. In the older grades, it's more about exit slips and the main content that they want to make sure they're acquiring.
Thanks for watching this video to learn more about personalized learning in the Diocese of Bridgeport schools. If you're interested in learning more about our schools or about this initiative, please visit our website at dioceseofbridgeportcatholicschools.com.